I'm Jonathan Larson with TYT Investigates, and I just wanted to give you a quick little report about Donald Trump's return to public rallies last night. So it may seem like a million years ago, right? But the public rallies that Trump held back in 2016 were unprecedented. They were massive. They generated excitement we hadn't seen in political campaigns in that way before, and they drove a lot of his favorable TV coverage. And he's been off the trail for months now, and last night's rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma was seen as and was being billed as a big return to that kind of energy. And it was a bust. It was a big bust. Now, for days, you had seen reports about people lined up to get in, all of this stuff. The arena where it took place holds 19,000 people, according to reports from reporters who were there. The stadium was only about 2/3, maybe, filled, meaning 1 out of every 3 seats empty, which you can see in the video that there is out there of the seats, which my own snotty response to that was basically, wow, for the first time, Trump is actually having social distancing at one of his gatherings. Good for you, man. This, of course, was the one time he definitely did not want social distancing. So, a few details. They had talked beforehand about 1 million tickets having been requested. The demand was so great that they built and planned for a second venue, an outdoor stage where both Trump and Pence were going to speak. And even before it came time for them to go out and do that, to speak to the overflow crowd, they already knew that they had so few people there that they canceled it and dismantled the outdoor stage. Now, what happened here? So the Trump campaign has put out a few different narratives. One is that they blamed radical protesters. This is according to Tim Murtaugh talking to the New York Times. I'm quoting their write-up on the story here. Quoting radical protesters and saying the news media had frightened away supporters. A couple things here. One is there were very few protesters at this rally, period. The other is there's no indication whatsoever that they prevented people from getting in. As I just said, and as everyone was reporting in the news coverage for days, there were lines for days. So not only was it clear that you could be there safely, but people around the country knew that. So it's not even clear in what way radical protesters would have scared people away. It wasn't by the images people were seeing on TV. The images people were seeing on TV was of people with their portable hibachis grilling happily and clogging up their 65-year-old arteries while they were online in this big party with no social distancing and no masks. And in terms of the news media's coverage of the lack of health restrictions, the lack of requirements to follow CDC guidelines, right? You didn't have to wear a mask. You didn't have to practice social distancing. All they did was take your temperature, as if we don't already know this is an asymptomatic disease in a lot of people, that people showing no high temperature, no problems physically, no coughing, no symptoms whatsoever, they're still a sizable component of the people spreading it, right? The Trump administration, campaign required nothing of these folks. You don't have to wear a mask. They gave out masks, didn't say you have to wear them. So now the Trump campaign is saying that people were so afraid of the coronavirus that they didn't show up. But the Times, who was there, spoke to people who were there. Quoting from the Times, in more than a dozen interviews, no one expressed serious concerns about coronavirus risk at the rally. And in fact, even those people who were there and admitted that coronavirus is real, they've adopted this sort of magical thinking about it in the ranks of Trump supporters. Quoting Robert Montanelli, a resident of Broken Arrow, a suburb of Tulsa, quote, "If it is God's will that I get coronavirus, that is the will of the Almighty. I will not live in fear. I will not live in fear." Of course, it's a little weird that the Almighty couldn't get the coronavirus past a mask or couldn't get the coronavirus to leap 6 feet if you were maintaining social distancing. But the point being, these were people who were not afraid of getting the virus. They either don't believe it exists, or they think it's going to come and get them no matter what. And the other thing I want to point out about the lines is that not only were they lined up for days, let me find this, beforehand, as people were seeing in the media. I want to get the exact, see if I can find this now. What they said was that some of the people had come not just from neighboring states, but from even farther away, which means we're not talking just about Trump only being able to draw 12,000 or so from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're also talking about his ability to draw from the entire state of Oklahoma and neighboring states. Some of those people were willing to go, but even with those numbers, they could only get 12,000. Now, you might have heard about K-pop stans and, fans of Korean pop music and people on Twitter and TikTok users, all of whom had these sort of pranky, trolly efforts to sign up for free tickets, right? And so you're going to hear a lot, I guarantee you, of people saying, well, it's because those trolls, those Antifa, right? Because of course they'll get labeled as Antifa. Those Antifa, they messed things up, right? They inflated the expectations. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how many people signed up for tickets. It wasn't as though once 1 million tickets were signed up for, then they stopped and said, nope, can't get any more tickets. Anyone who wanted one could get one. All that the K-pop people and the TikTok folks managed to do was inflate the expectation, right? The reality, they didn't change the reality whatsoever, meaning anyone who wanted to go still could have shown up days in advance and been safe online, or shown up in the moment, right? I guarantee you that people in Tulsa knew whether or not you could get in or not. And so there's a couple points here. One is, I think there's a really good outcome of all this in that some of Trump's most ardent supporters, right? And we should try to remember to feel sorry for them because they've been hoodwinked. Yes, some of them are just out and out racist, and Trump again used his racist terminology to talk about the coronavirus, and no one called him out for it and all this stuff. That's bad and that's not good. But some of these people have literally just been hoodwinked. And they drove for hours, some of them. They spent days, some of them online, in order to ensure that they could get in. So imagine putting in all that effort. You're a number one fan. You put in all that effort. You get inside. And then you look around and there's empty seats everywhere. Meaning you could have done something constructive with your day. You could have volunteered at a food bank. You could have spent productive time being close with your family. Instead, you wasted it because you believed what they told you. And now, yes, it's true. A lot of people are going to walk out and say, well, K-pop stans messed it up. But some of them are going to walk out of there thinking, you know what? I got hoodwinked. And the reason I feel relatively confident predicting that is precisely because so few people showed up, right? Those people who didn't show up, some of those did not show up because they understand too that they've been hoodwinked. Now, here's the danger, right? It's very easy to get caught up in this Schadenfreude, or is it Schadenfreude? Or maybe it's Schadenfreude, of seeing Trump fail so colossally and spectacularly like this. The danger is, it's very tempting to think this is done. And that's not how this works. A couple reasons why. One is, we don't know anything. We are very, very bad at predicting things. If the last 4 years have taught you anything, it should be that no, you don't actually know what's going to happen if Bernie wins that state, or if Biden loses that state, or if Trump wins this state. We don't know. And that's a good thing, because what that means is we don't take anything for granted. And what that means is we keep working. That's the takeaway. You've got to keep working. And I don't necessarily mean you've got to go out and support Joe Biden, but you've got to continue to do the work of not assuming that someone else is going to take care of making the world a better place. So if you think that your path for doing that is working for Joe Biden, then don't take this as a sign that it's safe to stop. If you think that your work is to make Joe Biden a better candidate, then don't take this as a sign that it's okay to stop. If you think that your work is to prevent Donald Trump from winning another term in the White House, then do not take this as a sign to stop. Because there are any number of scenarios we can envision where this doesn't matter, right? We've seen in American history any number of cases where someone was down, consistently through the polls, as Trump has been, and then, like that, something happens. Go back and look at the numbers for Bush Sr. and Dukakis. Dukakis had that thing wrapped up. Hillary Clinton was expected to win, right? The fact that Trump is down does not mean he's going to lose, and it does not mean we get to be certain he's going to lose. So, sure, yes, happy Father's Day. Enjoy the good feeling that you might get from all those videos of Trump's 1/3 empty stadium. Enjoy knowing that the New York Times reported he's furious at the numbers not being what he was led to believe. You can enjoy all of that. Just don't fall for it. You can be in love with it. Don't fall for it. And with that, I'll sign off. And if you don't already, I hope you'll subscribe to us on YouTube at TYT Investigates Reports. Like and follow us here on Facebook so that you'll get our breaking news commentary. We'll do our best to put stuff in context, bring in some information that the mainstream media doesn't always include in their coverage of it, because sometimes it matters that it's in there. So we try to do that. So please follow us on YouTube and Facebook. And every day, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, myself and investigative reporter T.Y. Chang, we trade off doing TYTI Daily, which is our daily commentary, discussion of original reporting, and we do it live so that we can have a back and forth with you folks, which hopefully makes us better reporters and analysts and connects us with you guys, who are why we are able to do what we do. So thanks so much. Happy Father's Day for those of you for whom that's a day today, and to everyone else, take care of each other, take care of yourselves. Bye now.